Welcome to the full story series right here at Comicstorian. This is where we take videos that came out over the course of multiple months and we put them together into a single video so that you aren't left on any crazy cliffhangers and stuff like that. The Three Joker storyline took about 4 years to finally come out, and then it came out over the course of 3 months. We originally came out with each issue individually, and today we're going to bring you all 3 parts in one single video for you to enjoy. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll let you know my opinions of it at the end of the video, since I've spoken about them at length on the channel already, and most of you probably know.
The rain pours down on the manor as the light begins to shine on the graves of Thomas and Martha Wayne. Suddenly, the Batmobile crashes into the tombstones, and a bleeding Batman stumbles out. As he heads into the cave, he says, "My parents." Alfred catches them, stating that they can fix the markers as soon as they fix him up. The utility belt is thrown to the ground and the cowl on the table, and Alfred takes out a pair of shears. As the suit is removed to reveal the puncture wound, Alfred asks, "What is it this time?" Alfred begins working on stitching up the cut, and after a few moments of silence, Batman tells him, "An umbrella." But this isn't the first thing that's going to scar Batman's body, and it won't be the last. His back snapping at the hands of Bane, the burn from the Riddler's cane, the claw marks from Catwoman. He's got bite marks from Killer Croc, a stabbing from Scarecrow, and the gunshot wounds from the Joker. There's also acid spray from the Joker. There's a slice from the Joker and a stab in the neck from the Joker. And then he hears it. The laughing, faint at first, but it grows louder and louder and louder. The laughing reminds him of back then, when he got to the theater with his parents. They had just watched The Mask of Zorro and were going home. And the little Bruce was laughing and smiling, but that's when he appeared. The man with the gun. He wanted their money, but Thomas offered his hand. The man shot him and then Martha. The gun fell to little Bruce, but instead of pulling the trigger, the man ran away. Alfred's voice snaps Bruce back to reality. The wound is deeper than the others. It's going to leave another scar. Not that he'd notice. But as Bruce looks, there's another voice coming from the TV. The news anchor is reporting that there has been a horrifying crime committed by the Joker. The Joker killed the last remaining members of the Moxon crime family. An eyewitness identified the killer to be the Joker, seemingly continuing his war or chaos against so-called organized crime. Batman reaches for his cape, thinking to himself, "The criminal." Elsewhere, Batgirl gets her running in at the gym when the news reports of the tragic death of the comedian Kalani Apaka. The entertainer was brutally murdered by the Joker and streamed live from the victim's home. Batgirl begins to push herself physically, literally until the machine breaks and she finally goes to take a shower. As the water washes over her, she feels it pass over the scar on her stomach, the spot where she was shot by the Joker. She remembers the moment that he showed up. She remembers asking him why he's doing this, and the Joker smiled, stating, "To prove a point, here's the crime." Batgirl thinks to herself, the comedian. Elsewhere, Red Hood is punching his way through a group of Joker goons as the news plays through his helmet. Security cameras captured the recent Arkham Asylum escapee from Ace Chemical, contradicting previous eyewitness reports. What happened at the chemical factory is still unknown, but the sources are stating that the bodies have been discovered. As Red Hood begins to wrap things up, one of the thugs tackles into him, knocking his helmet off. Like the others, Red too, he has scars on the back of his head where the Joker repeatedly beat him with a crowbar. As the thug pulls out a gun, Red Hood punches the man off and proceeds to take out the remaining 2. He reaches for his helmet, thinking, the clown. A short while later, the police arrive at Ace Chemical to look at the bodies that were previously discovered, and Bullock asks, how is this happening? There ain't no way the Joker could have taken out the Moxon family, killed that comic in Somerset, and poisoned these guys all at the exact same time. Gordon looks over his shoulder, telling them, 3 crimes, 3 Jokers. What does that mean? Batman, hopefully you can shed some light on this insanity. Batman walks out of the shadows without saying a word and begins to examine the victims. All have bleached skin and smiles as wide as the Joker's. Batman looks to the men, stating that the fingerprints would have been burned off by the chemicals that had bleached their skin. Those same chemicals will corrupt any DNA testing cone, and the nerve damage to their facial muscles has broken their jaws, making dental records nearly impossible. Bullock asks, what does all that mean? And Batman tells him, "Yes, you're probably right." Bullock stares, asking, is everything okay? Batman goes on, stating, "The 3 men were chosen to represent 3 men who were here that night. He's either trying to leave us a clue, or he's trying to distract us." Gordon asks, "Who the hell are you talking to?" And from up above, a voice calls out, "He's talking to me." Up top, Batgirl sits perched on the railing and she asks if this is where he fell. This is where the Joker was born. Joker made sure to look directly into the cameras he came across. An eyewitness saw him leave the crime, and he streamed the killing of Kalani Apaka. The Joker, or the 3 Jokers, wanted to be seen. But setting that mystery aside, we've got another problem. The vat here is empty, with who knows what. Before they could get any answers, laughing can be heard as one of the presumed men lunges up. "Help me!" As the man is taken into the ambulance, Batman says that they will escort this man to the hospital and then make for the comedian's home. On the road, Batgirl asks, "What do you make of all of this? Is the Joker using stand-ins?" But before she can get an answer, more laughing can be heard from inside of the ambulance. The EMT reaches down, unbuckling the straps, holding the man down, and then grabs a hold of his neck, and he begins to strangle the Joker's victim. We discover that it's Red Hood as he slams the man into the wall, shouting, "What did the Joker say before he bleached your ass?" As the ambulance begins to swerve, Batman starts the auto-drive function of the Batmobile, jumping inside of the truck. He yells, demanding to know what is going on, and Red Hood says, "I'm just getting information." Batman swings, but the Red Hood deflects the hit. Outside, Batgirl switches on the tire shredders on her bike, leaning into the wheels of the ambulance, tearing them to shreds. But meanwhile, elsewhere, deep in the forest, a giant Ace Chemical 18-wheeler speeds down the road, spilling its contents all over the place. It then makes a sharp turn into the woods, and a man pulls up to a house, getting out, stating, "Oh, what a life!" He knocks on the door, and as the door opens, the Clown Joker says that he brought some roadkill home to grill. The Comedian Joker asks, "On a related note, do you need a bike?" Back on the highway, Batman administers the Joker toxin antidote, and Batgirl asks Red Hood what the hell was he thinking. Red Hood tells her that he was getting information before the Joker kills anyone else. Batgirl asks, "By interrogating his victims?" And Red Hood tells her, "Those dead men were homeless guys the Joker picked up before juicing him at the plant. The victim had a rap sheet that included domestic assault against his own kid." Batman then walks up, stating, Red Hood was on the Joker's trail before he came to Ace Chemical, and Batgirl and he were also following the Joker. The Joker is clearly not working alone, which means they have to work together. Meanwhile, back at the cabin, the Clown Joker asks, "Oh, what are we going to do now?" And the third voice chimes in, the voice of the Criminal Joker, who states, "We will do what we always do. We try to make a better Joker." Later at the Gotham Aquarium, the 3 pull up on a lead that Red Hood had based on one of the wrenches used by one of the thugs that he came across earlier. The wrench has traces of seawater on it, and it didn't come from the harbor. As the 3 walk in, Batman looks at the fish, noticing something. All of the fish in the tank appear to be smiling, and then a giant set of teeth appear. A smiling shark. Red Hood says, "Well, that's a new one." And Batgirl asks, "What's the point of stealing all those chemicals and dumping in here? To make smiling sharks?" But a voice calls out, "Oh, it's been such a long time, Batman! I was so looking forward to seeing you when the Joker asked me to come out and play again!" Red Hood looks at the short man and asks, "Okay, who the hell is that?" Batman responds, "Gaggy. The Joker once called him his court jester." Red Hood asks, "And what is he going to do? Trip us?" That's when a gunshot goes off, hitting the glass of the aquarium, and Gaggy yells out, "Get them!" The brawl erupts as Batgirl easily takes out one of the thugs. She says that they don't seem to be the cream of the crop. Without the guns, they're nothing. As Red Hood takes out his thug, Gaggy jumps up, hitting him with a cattle prod, telling him, "Oh, we're going to have so much fun!" Red Hood spins back with his gun firing, hitting the glass behind Gaggy. As the glass begins to crack, Gaggy looks back. "Oh no!" And that's when the shark bursts out, biting down, swallowing Gaggy whole. Toxic fumes begin to fill the room from the fish, and Red Hood says, "Yeah, I'm guessing that wasn't really supposed to be Gaggy's spectacular return. It looks like the clown's special sauce is swirling down the drain. Whatever Joker had planned is over." But Batman stops him. "No, it's not. That fish tank wasn't large enough to hold the entirety of the stolen chemicals." And then a voice calls out, "Right you are, Batman!" The clown Joker leaps out with a fishbowl, throwing them at Batman, and then he spins around, bashing the empty bowl over Red Hood's helmet. As Red Hood falls to the ground, the Joker reaches for the helmet, pulling it off, yelling, "I just wanted to see those eyes again! Those tears! That fear! I can't get enough, Bubba!" But before the Joker could continue, Batman punches him off and Batgirl rushes in, throwing him into a set of glass doors. As the Joker lays on the ground, Batgirl says, "That's him, right?" Red Hood runs up, kicking the Joker in the stomach while Batgirl tries to stop him, and Gordon radios in. Batman tells them that they have captured one of the Jokers, and Gordon tells him, "Good. The GCPD has number 2 cornered and could use your help." Batman tells the others, "Secure this one and wait for Arkham transport. Make sure to do a search. He always has something up his sleeve." So a short while later, as several metal cards fall out of the Joker's sleeve, he sits tied up. Red Hood's just looking him over. He sounds the same, but he looks a little different, maybe thinner? Red Hood picks up one of the cards and a stream of acid shoots out of the Joker's flower onto his chest. Batgirl jumps in, pulling Red Hood out of the way. And Joker bursts out laughing. "That's one of the classics! I am the one, the true Joker, and I can prove it." As the two search the Joker for more traps, the Joker goes on stating, "Take Red Hood here, for example. Have you ever wondered why he uses my old moniker? Who in their right mind would take on the identity of their killer? Am I right?" Red Hood tells him it's because he's owning what happened to him. He made this, and he will be his destruction. As Red Hood tightens his grip on his gun, Batgirl tells him to put it down. Red Hood pulls the gun out, stating, "Nothing is going to change until we break the cycle." And Batgirl asks again for him to put the gun down, with the Joker laughing, stating, "We need to look at fact. I bashed the boy's skull in. I killed this Robin. And then Batman arrested me, just like you're doing now. Brought me to Arkham, and that was that until it wasn't. Maybe I didn't beat him into a bloody mess to kill him. Maybe I took him to the edge because he needed to live. Let's face it, if I had killed the Robin, there'd be no more opportunities to hurt him, and in turn, hurt Batman. Because Batman is all that matters, not anyone else, never anyone else." Joker looks at Red Hood in the eyes and he asks, "Do you remember what you said all those years ago, right when that crowbar was about to break your head in?" "I will cherish those words." "Please, please stop. Let me live. I'll do anything you say. I'll be your Robin." Joker begins to laugh, telling him, "Look at you now, my little Red Hood, shooting up people, making Batman's life miserable. You are my Robin!" Red Hood's hand begins to tremble as his finger pulls the trigger. Batgirl throws a batarang, grazing the gun, but it wasn't enough. Red Hood finishes pulling that trigger and blam! Batgirl stares in shock as the Joker falls off his chair, blood pouring out of his temple. It takes a moment, but Batgirl asks, What did you do? Jason, what the hell did you do?" Red Hood tells her, "I did what had to be done. I ended this. And don't tell me you didn't want this after everything he did to you." Batgirl shouts, "I didn't want any of this!" And Red Hood asks, "Tell me, when was the last time you missed?" Batgirl looks at the batarang sticking out of the wall and the pool of blood forming at her feet. She tries to hold herself back as the tears stream down her face, and she tells him, "Screw you, Jason," and she leaves. Red Hood watches as Batgirl goes and then looks back at the Joker's dead body. Man, I hope I got the right one.
The garnished purple truck pulls up in front of a standard home in an unknowing suburban neighborhood. The comedian steps out, walking up to the front door. "Honey, I'm home!" the Joker announces as he walks through the door of the bright and cheery home. His wife puts food on the table, fear in her face. The Joker kisses her on the cheek, sitting down for dinner, and the woman goes to the stairs, calling for their son to come down to dinner. But that boy, he's scared. There's fear on his face. They all eventually sit down, and the Joker looks around, trying to lighten the mood. "What are you doing?" the criminal Joker asks, looking as the comedian sits down at a moldy table across from a stuffed bear and a mannequin. "You're wasting time coming back here," the criminal tells him, as he walks across the room, ignoring the comedian's commands to not touch the mannequin. He points out that it was the comedian's idea to leave Batman a trail to follow, that it would make it more fun. And now one of us is dead! He snarls as he throws the mannequin to the floor. Meanwhile, over at the warehouse, the clown lays on the floor and a pool of his own blood flies buzzing around him. And elsewhere in the city, James Gordon and Harvey Bullock stand outside of a house in the rain. They wait for Batman to control the smiling dogs that bark at them through the window. Eventually, they're inside standing over the body of the retired Judge Walls. The man was murdered by his own Joker-infected dogs, but not before he was pumped full of toxins himself. The police don't understand the attack, but Batman explains that it was Judge Walls who began sending criminals to Arkham when the security was loose. Judge Walls was responsible for Arkham's revolving door, Batman tells him. The conversation is interrupted as Batgirl tells the team that she needs to speak with Batman privately. Did the Joker escape? Asks Gordon. No, she tells them, looking at Batman, and Batman realizes what's going on. Where's Red Hood? Minutes later, Batman and Batgirl are roaring down the streets of Gotham, Barbara finishing filling Batman in on what happened, asking him what they should do next. Batman is quiet, but Batgirl won't let go, reminding him that Jason killed the Joker. He killed a Joker, Barbara. That's all we know. He tells her as the Batmobile skids around a corner, but she doesn't let up, pressing him on the issue, asking what does it matter if he killed a Joker or anyone else? And Batman finally tells her that there's nothing that they can do about it. If we arrest him for murder, he would be forced to be unmasked, and as the only eyewitness, so would you. He tells her. Batgirl is angry, demanding to know why Bruce isn't as upset as her. They stop and Bruce rolls down his window as he sees Barbara, explaining that Jason is suffering, that the Joker hurt him, and Jason healed wrong. He got more violent, you got stronger, Batman tells her. All I wanted to do was help Jason, but I thought he was dead, and I'll never forgive myself for leaving him in that grave, ever. Barbara questions why Batman didn't help him when he found out that he was alive. Because I was hoping he was more like you, Batman tells her. Screams of pain echo through the alleyway as the Red Hood throws another of Joker's goons against the ice cream truck. The bodies of the unconscious litter the ground as the final goon asks what Hood wants. What do you want? You didn't even ask us, he shouts. I don't like asking twice, Red Hood snarls. He demands to know where the goons were taking the chemicals that the Joker had hidden. The man refuses, but Red Hood's helmet is already picking up traces of the pool cleaner on the man's skin. Beneath the helmet, Jason's eyes narrow. He can't have the thug running before the police get to him. Screams echo throughout the night as Batman and Batgirl continue down their road. Barbara realizes that they are leaving the city, asking if Bruce is tracking Jason. But Bruce tells her that they're headed to Blackgate Prison. Batman tells her that before the police arrived, he discovered that Judge Walls had been bludgeoned with his humanitarian award before the dogs got to him. And why didn't you tell my father that? Batgirl asks. But there's a pause as Batman tells her that he found fingerprints on the award. Barbara watches as Batman heads towards the prison entrance, questioning whose prints he found. Batman tells her that they were Joe Chill's. He moves through the shadowy halls, passing the cells of enemies from the past, standing outside of the cell of Joe Chill, and he tries to quiet the little boy inside of him, the one that lost his parents. His voice catches for a moment. You know who I am, he finally growls. We need to talk, now! He snaps, but nothing stirs from the shadows. Batman rears back, kicking the door down, but discovers that the cell is empty. They moved him, Barbara tells him from the doorway. So a short time later, they are staring down at the infirmed body of Joe Chill in Blackgate's hospital wing. Batgirl explains that he has stage 4 cancer and the man only has a short time to live. Batman knows that someone must have visited Chill, gotten his fingerprints in order to lead them there. What connection does Joker have with Joe Chill other than you? Barbara asks him, but Batman doesn't know. He turns away, informing her that Jason is now accessing the Bat computer. I think Jason found the other two, he tells her. Rain is beating down from the sky as Jason leaves his bike and enters the Condemned Athletic Association. He pulls out a crowbar from his back, destroying the chain and entering the darkened halls. He pulls free his pistol, entering the pool area, stopping with shock. Man, what are you doing here? He whispers at the horrific scene. The pool is choked with the bodies as they bob in chemicals that have been dumped there. He leans down, taking a sample, but the cotton swab he uses begins to sizzle. I can't believe I beat Batman here. He laughs to himself, removing his helmet, trying to get Batgirl on the comms, and a hand reaches out from the pool, grasping at his boot. Help me! The man gasps, a grin pulling to the sides of his mouth. Jason kicks him away, pulling out his pistol. He aims at the creature, but the man doesn't come back out of the water. I had hoped you would come, a voice calls out, with hands grabbing Jason from behind, pulling him away, as laughter echoes throughout the abandoned building. Yes! He'll be perfect, the Joker whispers as he picks up the Red Hood's helmet. Jason awakens a short time later, blood dripping from his face as he sits naked in a chair. The criminal stands nearby, talking about how Jason was a petty criminal that was reborn as Robin. And then after your death, you were reborn again! Leaning in, the Joker admits that these things always happen in threes. He tells Jason that he was the first, running Gotham before the arrival of Batman. Anger wells up in Jason and he begins to yell, telling the criminal that he left one of the other Jokers with a hole in his head. And as soon as I get free, you're next! He screams out. Jason then stunned as the criminal begins to laugh, and that laughter seems to bring pain as tears stream down his face. Jason continues to glare as the criminal's laughter stops. So what? Are you gonna tell me that you're the real Joker? He asks, but suddenly the Red Hood's helmet slips over his head, and a bright smile is painted on it as a new voice tells Jason that he is going to find out. The criminal paces before him, questioning why Jason would put on a helmet and call himself the Red Hood after what the Joker did to him. It's a joke, Jason tells him menacingly, but the criminal shakes his head, reminding Jason that they left him with brain damage, nerve pain, physical and emotional trauma so bad that he makes himself hurt other people. We're more alike than you'd like to admit, the criminal tells him, leaning in, reminding Jason that he nearly died, and he blames Batman for it. He hates him for it. I hate a lot of people, Jason hisses, and finally the criminal leans back, staring at him. Batman needs a better Joker. To put it simply, you're just not bright enough, Joker tells him, and the crowbar smashes him in the helmet hard enough to crack the fiberglass. Laughter echoing throughout the room as the crowbar is brought down again and again. The comedian keeps laughing as he continues to hit Jason. You know, this is more fun than the first time! You better make sure I stay dead this time. Jason gasps on the floor, but the Joker laughs, telling him, I was rooting for you to raise up again! And he brings the crowbar down one last time. Barbara kicks in the door to the pool, calling out for Red Hood. We could have entered quietly, Batman says as he moves forward. They move through the building, laughter echoing throughout the halls around them, and they stop as the sound seems to be all around them. Suddenly, all the people that the Joker infected begin to surround them. They attack, laughter still escaping from their lips as they whisper for help. Batman and Batgirl fight back, knocking some of them away, but there are too many and they begin to swarm. One of them rips off the bat belt and a button begins to flash. They activated the call button! It's coming! Batman yells as he reaches for Barbara's hand, pulling her free of the crowd. They leap clear as the Batmobile comes careening through a wall, driving through the horde of victims. Batman looks up, seeing the fallen all around them. We can still save some of them. We can still save Jason, Batman whispers to Batgirl, and they keep moving through the abandoned building, finally finding the pool that had recently been filled with chemicals. Why are they doing this? Batgirl questions. I don't know, Batman whispers as they find a crowbar on the floor with a blood trail leading to another room, and pushing open that door, they find Jason on the floor. Batman reaches for him, but Jason springs back to life, pulling away, yelling for them not to touch him. He begins to babble as he reaches for his helmet, babbling about the three Jokers. Jason, are you all right? Am I all right? What do you think, Bruce? He blames Bruce for putting him on this path, leaving him to die, replacing him so quickly, and Barbara reaches out for him, hesitating for a moment before she puts a hand on his back. What do you want? He whispers, and she pulls him in close as he crumples to the floor. Right now, I just want to get you somewhere safe. Batman mentions that Jason is now safe, so he needs to make sure that the rest of Gotham is while Barbara takes care of Jason. So a short time later, Jason wakes up confused about where he is, and looking around the room, he finds Barbara's wheelchair, calendars of her therapy sessions, books about pain management, and later she slips back through the shadows, finding her bed empty and one of the books left out. Jason comes out of the bathroom apologizing for using her shower and going through her closet. That book looked useful, he admits to her, and they look at each other for a moment before she asks if he's okay. I don't think I've ever been okay, he admits to her, admitting that the Joker was right about him being on a path just like the Joker. I don't want to be like that, he tells her. And he asks about the wheelchair and the calendar, asking her if it brings up old pain and memories. And she tells him that it reminds her of how the people around her are here to help her heal. She knows that no one was there for Jason, telling him that it was because they thought he was dead. We all wish we had been there for you, she tells him. No one has ever said that to me, he whispers back to her, and with that, they lean in to kiss. We shouldn't have done that, Barbara whispers as she quickly pulls away, but she tells Jason that she wanted him to know that she cares. But the moment is past, and she reminds him that they need to get back on the case. Meanwhile, back in the Batcave, Batman looks through the case files of the three Jokers, and he turns, looking at his globe and seeing Alaska. Fire and smoke bellow from below the Blackgate prison, and a purple truck careens through the city as the Joker cracks a smile. Joe Chill looks up in fear, not sure what they want with him, but the Joker holds up a camera, filming the man's startled expression. It's time to finally confess, Mr. Chill. Why did you really kill Martha and Thomas Wayne? The Joker asks with a smile. Batman, Batgirl, and Red Hood look down at a pile of pictures that are scattered across the table. The photos show the three Jokers and their hundreds of victims, and Batman nods, reminding them that the Jokers have been abducting people in order to make a better Joker. A better Joker? What does that even mean? Batgirl asks. Batman looks at her, repeating what Jason was told about a Joker with an identity behind the smile. The Jokers wanted me to uncover all of this. I just don't know why, he tells her, and Jason looks down at one of the photos. There are 2 Jokers left, Bruce, not 3. And when I get my sights on them, there will be none, since you're too weak to do it, he tells his former mentor. Bruce's reaction is instantaneous as he slams Jason against the Bat computer. You think that I haven't wanted to put a bullet in his brain too? After what he did to Barbara? To you? Bruce yells, anger echoing throughout the Batcave. But Jason reminds him that he didn't. Jason knows that Bruce won't arrest him because they would all have to unmask. Batgirl steps in to calm them both down, and finally Bruce releases Jason. You don't understand. You never did. We agreed to work on this together. Now let's start over and do that, Bruce tells him before turning back to the photos. The Joker has exposed dozens to the chemicals that created him, and they were all failures except for 3. The criminal, more focused on a goal and less interested in the theatrics. He reminds me of our earliest confrontations. The clown. He embraced lethal campiness like a children's show host. And the comedian. A sadistic streak stronger than the others. Bruce tells them that he believes that one of these 3 is the original and made the other 2. Maybe he made the others to hide his true identity. Maybe they can find out who the Joker really is, Batgirl tells him. Probably some nobody, Jason whispers, and finally Bruce turns back to Jason, apologizing for failing him. He offers to help him find a new identity, to leave the Red Hood persona behind. No, let's focus on finding the 3 Jokers. I don't need help, Jason tells them, the images of a crowbar cracking into his head filling his mind. That's when they're interrupted as the Bat computer begins to beep a warning. And a short time later, Batman stands in Joe Chill's former hospital room with Commissioner Gordon. I want to see his cell, Batman hisses. He searches the small room quickly, finding a stack of letters hidden amongst the books on the shelf. Each one addressed to Bruce Wayne. Batman doesn't understand why the man wouldn't have just mailed them. Outside Blackgate, Batgirl and Red Hood watch from a hill nearby. The silence is broken as Jason tries to apologize to Barbara, but she cuts him off. You do understand the position you put me and Bruce in by killing the Joker. We're trapped. We have no choice but to let you walk away, she tells him. Nodding, he tells her that he won't be doing anything like that again. She stares at him for a moment, but then she turns away. I hope not, because next time I'll unmask if I have to. Batman stands before the prison reverend as the man explains that Chill was full of regret for what he had done. So he gets sick and he wants to repent, Batman states simply, but the reverend shakes his head, explaining that Joe Chill had begun to write his letters long ago, that he never denied what he had done and tried to explain it in those letters. Why would anyone want to take him? What do they want with him? The reverend asks, and Batman begins to flip through the letters, finding one addressed to Batman at the bottom. I'm about to find out, Batman whispers. Rain plummets from the sky as the Batmobile and Batgirl cycle race through the city streets. They pull up outside of the Monarch Cinema, Batman getting out, looking up at the sign that reads, "One night only, the new Joker." He wordlessly motions for Batgirl to take the roof and Red Hood to take the side alley before walking through the broken front door. Batman makes his way into the theater and a projector suddenly comes to life. Batman looks up at the screen watching as they film Joe Chill, asking him why he killed Thomas and Martha Wayne. Upstairs, Batgirl passes a door, with laughter echoing on the other side, and the door shatters as a wave of laughing Jokers attack her. "They're upstairs!" she shouts into her radio. "And downstairs!" Red Hood repeats as he fires his pistols into the wave of Jokers that are attacking him, trying his best to wound. In the theater, Batman looks up, seeing one of the Jokers on the catwalks above him. "It has come down to this, Batman. You, me, and him at the scene of the crime." Joe Chill is tied to a chair, dangling by a rope next to him, and the film continues to play as Batman launches himself up into the rafters, glaring at the Joker across the way. But the criminal cautions him, opening up his trench coat to reveal the dynamite strapped to his chest. "Keep your distance until I say so," he tells the Dark Knight. "You want to make a new Joker, and you think that that's Joe Chill?" Batman says. "How can it not be?" Joker asks, and in the building, Batgirl continues to fight, but as she's about to be overwhelmed, a shot echoes out, dropping the Jokers near her. "Red Hood?" "Klaus!" The comedian giggles from the door, a pistol smoking in his hand as he holds up the camera. "Smile!" He grins. Up in the rafters, the criminal explains, "We are making a new Joker so that we can mean something to Batman. Right now, I am nothing more than undefined chaos. I need to be more. I need to be everything to you. And he can be that. The Joker who matters." The old criminal says, pulling out a rope and dangling Chill over the theater. "He's a sick old man and that's all," Batman tells him. But the criminal motions to the vat of chemicals below, believing that the bath will put Joe into remission. "A simple trade of physical health for mental health." Red Hood drops his last Joker, rushing up the stairs to find Batgirl, and as he rounds the corner, he sees her fighting a group of Jokers as she tries to warn him, but a shot comes out from behind, piercing his shoulder. The comedian stands over him, aiming the pistol, but Batgirl is there, smashing the camera into his face, and up in the rafters, the criminal pulls free a Tommy gun. "As soon as Joe Chill is reborn, I can rest." Batman moves fast, avoiding the rounds as the machine gun begins to bark, the bullets cutting through the wire that holds the rafters up, making the floor tilt. The criminal falls, dropping the lighter that he holds, and Batman leaps through the air, kicking the man down, but the Zippo continues to tumble, landing into the vat of chemicals below. The explosion rips through the theater, filling the air with smoke and fire. And the criminal stands, coming at Batman with a knife. Meanwhile, Batgirl and Red Hood are dodging the explosions, only to look up and find the comedian is gone. "Where did he go?" Red Hood snaps, and as the building burns around them, the criminal continues to swing his knife, forcing Batman back. "No, this is still happening! Another criminal falls into the burning bath! Another Joker is born!" He snarls, reaching for the rope that holds Joe Chill, laughing as he cuts into it and lets the man plummet. Batman leaps, firing his grappling gun as he swings, pulling Joe Chill to safety. The criminal stops, his escape blocked by a wall, and he turns as Batman swoops towards him, his kick catching him in the chest, throwing him through the brick wall. Out in the alleyway, Joe stumbles to his feet, looking up terrified as Batman stands over him. "I know who you are! You know what I did! Are you going to kill me?" Joe asks, backing up. Batman glares at him, memories of the night that his parents were taken from him, passing through his mind. "No," Batman whispers. "I truly deserve it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry," Joe whispers. The wall beginning to tumble, and Batman pulls Joe Chill to safety once again, with the old man thanking him. "You're welcome." Batman nods, but laughter echoes behind them as they turn to see the criminal with a switch on his dynamite sticks. "I had hoped to extend this game a little longer, but now we all go together." God, it hurts to laugh! He laughs at them, craziness in his eyes, when suddenly a gunshot echoes through the hallway, and the criminal falls. Batman stares in shock as the comedian stands nearby. "And then there was one, Batman.
He throws the gun away, putting his hands up as he walks to him. "Take me in, Batsy! I want to get off this crazy ride!" Batman steps forward as the laughter echoes through the darkness and the rain. Afterwards, Jason stands with Barbara as the emergency workers try to put out the theater fire. Jason is fuming, angry that Batman ordered him back to the cave while he took the Joker back to Arkham. "And what about a chance with us?" he finally asks Barbara, thinking back to their kiss, but Barbara tells him that they reacted to what happened differently. She apologizes, Jason nods, finally getting into the Batmobile and driving home. "Batgirl," Gordon calls out as he walks out in the rain. He looks at the young woman, reminding her that she has his support as well as Batman's. "But Red Hood, he's someone that you shouldn't be involved with," he tells her. Batgirl turns away, straddling her motorcycle. "And what I do with him isn't any of your business, Dad," she says, riding off into the night. In the police van, Batman sits across from the Joker, the Psycho smiling, leaning forward. "See, after all that trauma, don't you feel better, Brucey?" he asks, and Batman glares. "Bruce Wayne, Barbara Gordon, Jason Todd, you know I know! But I don't care. I won't tell. The world will never know your true name. You might stop doing this if I do." "What do you want?" Batman finally asks, and the Joker laughs. "I don't want what the other ones want. The clown just wanted to laugh at people suffering. The criminal wanted to create a Joker with identity. Why? That ruins the very definition of me. That's why I regret making him." Or does he regret making me? There is no final punchline. The Joker is chaos. I am the devil. There is nothing wrong with me, but there is something wrong with Batman. And I figured out how to fix Batman! I made Batman save the man who took his parents. You saw the old man's pain, and it gave relief to yours. I healed your greatest wound. So now, I can be your greatest pain! Later, Bruce Wayne stands at the bedside of Joe Chill. He reads the letters of apology that the old man wrote, and he takes his hand as his heart beats its last. Later, standing in the Batcave with Alfred, he knows that even if Jason had killed the three Jokers, it never would have truly been over for him and Barbara. And with Jason, he stands outside of Barbara's apartment, a note in his hand that explains how he feels. He tells her that he wants to be with her, but if she doesn't, he understands. They'll never have to mention it, and he'll understand. But he will always love her. As he pins it up to the door and walks away, he used the world's worst tape because that note falls to the ground, and it's swept up by the janitor, never to be read. Inside of the Batcave, Alfred and Bruce look over the photos of the Joker. "I wonder if we'll ever truly know who he is," Alfred questions, but a look of determination comes to Batman's eyes. "Not to sound like people think I do, Alfred, but I'm Batman. I knew the Joker's name 1 week after we met." Images of a young woman dealing with an angry husband fill his mind. Of a woman going to the police, trying to escape her life. Of an apparent fire. Of the woman being presumed dead, but secretly she's being taken away to safety. And the mother and son of the Joker, who are now happy living in Alaska. No one can ever know his name, Alfred, because if the world knows his name, his family will never be left alone. The press will find them, the Joker will find them. So yes, I know his name, but the Joker's name isn't what's important. It never has been.
And there you have it, the three Joker storyline. Now, like I said before, I don't think it's a terrible comic book. I just don't think it's as Joker-centric as I would have wanted it to be. I feel that it's more of a Red Hood Batman storyline, which, since I'm a Red Hood fan, I super enjoy. But hey, that's just my critiques from a guy who just reads comic books all day. I hope you guys did enjoy this. Don't forget, we're trying to bring back the full story series, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, you hit that like button, and check out the videos we have here. You can also get early access to a lot of our videos if you go on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian. Thank you so much for your guys' support, and I'll see you next time right here.